taking over. Let's go. It's Pharrell. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Pharrell. Coast to coast. So we go to hour 3 of C2C on a midweek Where Do You Hurt Wednesday on Sports Grid, along with Carver High and Pharrell in New York. So would you argue with that, Carver High, that Flacco's been great for them the last couple of weeks, and he was great again in Jacksonville? They were down 2 touchdowns, game was over, and he had all those beautiful passes to Pierce and brought him back, and the game was tied, and then Jacksonville got lucky and got a field goal and won the game, and they finally got off the schneid. Bottom line is, I don't think you can even compare the two. Richardson against Flacco, to me, I'm picking Flacco all day. 6 ways till Sunday.
Look, I think that obviously in the short term, yes, that he's playing good football right now. But you did draft this guy to be your franchise quarterback. And when he actually plays, he's not awful. His problem is he doesn't play. He gets hurt every single time he steps on the field, which is why it's actually smart by them to have such a good backup in Joe Flacco. But I think if Richardson's healthy, I think that's who they're going to go with, whether it's this Sunday or the next Sunday. When he's ready to go, he's going to be in there.
Well, then
whether we like, and you know what? I would still take them on Sunday with Richardson against the Titans. If the Titans are going to play Levis, I'll take Richardson.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that because I think the Titans are ass butter, okay? And so I don't care who plays. I don't care if you play. I'll take the Colts in that game.
And I'll feel okay because if Richardson gets hurt again, I know I got Flacco coming in, and I'm still going to be getting the stick. So I'll be all right in a spot like that. Some more for you here. NFC North, they are the only division so far that has every team above 500. Only division in football. Of course, the Vikings, Lions, Packers, and Bears all have been good. They are a combined 14-5 so far this year. Look at that. Everyone else in the NFC. East has been okay, obviously with Washington being good. Man, that's ugly out west, huh? 8-12 with the Niners and the Rams and the Seahawks and the Cardinals.
Shame. What a shame.
What a
How will
shame.
I ever get over that? Look, what Atlanta's doing is interesting. Obviously, the North is rocking right now. They look fantastic. And in the East, I'm just, stunned at what Washington is doing like everyone else. And I'm not surprised Jaden Daniels is good. I'm surprised that they're that good with him, right? Like that he has made them immediately a winner. He shows up in DC and has made the Commanders a winner with immediacy. That is stunning to me. And then, I don't really care about anything else. Like all the divisions, the West is problem, the South's problems, all this. Look, whoever wins the West is going to be in the playoffs. Whoever wins the South is going to be in the playoffs. Whoever wins the East is going to be in the playoffs. So it doesn't change the fact of, you're going to see those teams no matter what.
You certainly are. That's for sure. We mentioned this yesterday. I wanted to give it to you. The rookie quarterbacks so far. Not the best start the first 2 weeks. They were 2-4. No touchdown, 6 picks. But look at this since. Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams. 8-1. 12 tutties, 4 picks, 98.5 passer rating. The rookies are doing all right, and you're going to get at least 1 in Drake May, maybe 2 in Spencer Rattler, who are going to come out of the cupboard this week as well.
Look, I think Bo Nix is benefiting from the Broncos defense, and it's made everybody else's job easier. And then I obviously think Jaden Daniels is the reason, and Caleb Williams is starting to play great in Chicago. Not just good, but he's played great. He's had a couple of 300-yard-plus games. He's throwing tutties. He's getting out of the pocket, getting around and slinging it with his arm and making plays. And they got a good defense. So I'm not surprised at all at those two. I am a little surprised at Bo Nix, but I think that's more Bronco defense in my tastes.
which is something else that I'm going to bring up with you in a little bit here, how good they've been. Speaking of the rookie quarterbacks, Caleb Williams will go across the pond with the Bears. The next London game this Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. East kick against the Jags, who, of course, now do this 2 weeks every year. This is the first of two for them. Bears are 1.5-point favorite in London against the Jags with a 44.5 total.
Well, I think the Bears are playing way better football than the Jaguars. I thought the Jaguars last week blew that game and then got a late field goal. So they did it again. They blew a big lead and they looked really bad. And then they looked good, then they looked really bad, and then they won with a late field goal. So I thought they got lucky because when you're up 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and you blow it, you're lucky you win, in my view. So I think they won because they were at home, and I thought Joe Flacco had them by the stones. I really did. I thought the Colts were going to win the game after they came back, right? So I'm not impressed with them at all. And I am impressed with the Bears' defense and with Caleb Williams. So I think the Bears win the game.
The Eagles, another team coming off of their bye this week, Scotty. They will have the Browns in Philadelphia, and we know what kind of problems the Browns have been having, so much so that the Eagles are 8.5-point favorites at home. But that's been a problem for Jalen Hurts. How about this? 3-7-1 against the spread when Hurts has been a favorite of more than a touchdown. You worried about that this week with the Browns coming in?
Well, there's a couple of theories here. One, they had a bye and they needed it, and I think they're going to take it out on the Browns because the Browns stink. And the other theory would be anything over 7.5 is the kiss of death. Anything over 7.5 in the NFL is the kiss of death. So it's got to be Browns 8.5. It's got to be. It's got to be Browns cover because everyone thinks they stink and everyone thinks it's automatic. And automatic in the NFL is the kryptonite of all kryptonites. You think something's automatic, you'll lose as sure as I'm sitting here. So Eagles win, don't cover.
I'm kind of leaning that way as well because those numbers have been pretty astronomical. A couple of injury things for you that have come out of today. The Texans placed wide receiver Nico Collins on IR with a hamstring injury.
You lose.
He is, shall we say, leading the league in receiving yards. He won't be by the time he comes back as he will miss minimum 4 games with that hamstring. So bad news for the Texans there. As far as the Saints go, quarterback Derek Carr, who left the end of the Chiefs game Monday night, he's expected to miss multiple weeks with an oblique injury. Of course, they have Jake Haener or rookie Spencer Rattler could be in line to make his first NFL start coming up this week when they will have the Bucs at the Dome. And they are 3.5 point. Another road 3.5-point favorite in that game. What's that? The third one I've given you so far for this week? Bucs are 3.5-point favorites in New Orleans.
Well, look, I think he'll be out at least 3-4 weeks with the oblique. I've had the oblique. It's about a 3-4 week thing, and I think he'll be able to play again. I don't think it's the end of the world, but it is close to a month. So I think the Saints will suffer the consequences of that. They're still a tough team. If the kid doesn't screw it up, just give Kamara the ball. He's got talent all around him, and they got a defense. I think it's too many points in New Orleans. I really do. I think the kid can handle his business. He's not the worst quarterback I ever saw in my life. I think people think they're dead in the water without Carr, and I'm not so sure. I think that's a very unappealing, dangerous game to bet. To trust him is dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight.
It certainly is. All right, we'll finish off some more NFL stuff when we come back. They're underway at Citi Field in Queens. In the top of the first inning, Schwarber just made the first out, so Quintana's on the mound. And in the other game, 3-0, top 7 for the Tigers there to go. So we are underway and rocking with the baseball.
Time to turn the channel.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
I do think they come back, and I think they win this game, but they've got to do it decisively. I think they've got to get that confidence back because they went out there, and like I said earlier, Kentucky almost beat Georgia. Kentucky almost did beat Ole Miss, and I think what you're going to see in this conference, if you don't play well and you're a top 10 team in the SEC, you're going to get knocked out by one of those top 25 teams in the SEC if you're not ready to play.
Powered by Sports Grid.
He already has more than 1,000 yards. The last three running backs to win the Heisman, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, Reggie Bush, did not have more than 650 in their opening 5 games of the year. Ashton Jeanty on pace to strike the pose in December.
Statistics matter. Blow every record out of the water, and he will be a Heisman. Disgraceful performance by the head coach, not Gene.
The Early Line. Only on Sports Grid.
You told me you were going to give me the skinny on the Broncos' tough defense.
Yes, I am going to give you the skinny on the Broncos' tough defense. How about this going into week number 6? They are second in points allowed, third in yards allowed, second in yards per play, first in opposing fourth down percentage, first in opposing goal-to-goal efficiency. The Broncos' D has been excellent, part of the reason why they are now 3-2 after starting 0-2, so 3 wins in a row for Denver as they get ready for the Chargers this week, Scotty. Speaking of that game, the lowest total of the season so far, if it closes at this, which right now, 35.5, that would be the lowest total. Unders, 8-4 so far this year with games under 40 points. So 8 of those 12 have gone under when the total's under 40.
Yeah, and I like this one to go under as well. And look, those are playoff numbers. You're a playoff team. You keep playing defense like that. So they remind me of the Steelers, and I think that Denver defense might be a little better than the Steelers defense. The Steelers give up points, and they lose, and I think Denver's problem is their offense, right? So I don't think it's a real huge problem, but I think that's why they're only 3-2. When you have a defense as good as they have, they could be sitting 4-1 right now. They could win a majority of their games. I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 65-70% of their games they could win with that defense alone. I mean, if you play great defense like that and dominate across the board in every facet of the game, in the NFL, you're going to win games. When you shut everyone down and no one can score against you or pass the ball against you or run against you, and you don't get in the end zone and you don't kick field goals, you lose. That's all there is to it. So Sean Payton has something brewing in Denver. Believe me, the soup is on the stove and it's getting heated up. Tortellini soup, and it's delicious. Meat tortellini soup, because he's got a defense and they mean business. So all they have to do is figure out how to get Bo Nix to get that team in the end zone, because they're not letting anybody do anything else to him.
They certainly have not so far, that's for sure. And another reason why you get this low 35.5 total this week. Here they are, the best over and under teams so far in the NFL this year. Look who is the only team to go under in every game. The Chargers, who are playing that great Denver defense this week. So 4-0 for the Chargers to the under. Dolphins, Texans, Vikings, Giants, Steelers also the under. As far as the over goes, Bengals, Seahawks, Ravens, Commanders, and Panthers for their 5 games to the over.
So the Chargers, I think in the game I went to, the Steelers won 20-10, right? So they gave up 20 points. And if you give up 20 points in the NFL, I think 7 out of 10 times you're going to win. If you give up 20 or under, you're going to win. Look what Dallas did to the Steelers. 17, they won. You can talk about it all day. Anyone that keeps a team under 20 in the NFL, that you got a legitimate shot of winning. So the key to that game is the unders, I think, very live. They're both great defensive teams, so the under's way live. Can Denver win by a field goal? Can Denver score against the Chargers? Because that's their issue. Their offense is relatively stale. So is the Steelers. I mean, they got a defense. They don't have, their offense is stale. And you give all this credit to Nix and Daniels and Williams. It should just be Daniels and Williams, because Nix really hasn't done anything. He's been okay. Okay doesn't cut the mustard. Okay? When they get that kid going, Mike, they're going to have a team.
He's doing what you're supposed to do when you're playing their style of game, right? When you have the great dominant defense, the one thing you want, and you're going to play a rookie quarterback, the one thing you need him to do is what? Not turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Don't make mistakes. And if you're just not making mistakes, moving the football, putting up just enough points, I mean, isn't that, that was what we saw with Sanchez and the Jets, when he went to the AFC title game. Sanchez was a rookie, but the Jets D was so good. When Flacco came up, when he was a rookie, the Raven defense was so good. Sometimes that's a formula as long as you have a rookie quarterback that doesn't make mistakes, which Nix isn't doing so far. So nice job by him. We've talked about this a lot. Big dogs barking. I finally got to it for you. 5 or more points, 76%, 19-6-1. And there's quite a few this week. Cardinals are 5, Patriots are 7, Browns are 8.5, Washington 6.5, and the Panthers are 6. Big dogs.
Yeah, look, I think the Commanders are very interesting there. The Browns, even though they stink. And then the Cardinals, they proved that they could win at Levi's. Can they give Green Bay a game at Lambeau? Why not? I think the Packers, to me, have been, at some level, relatively disappointing. Love is not where he needs to be, and that might be ripe for the picking. The NFL this year, I don't know how many times we've said it, and we just showed it to you right to your face. Those stats are staggering. Anything over 5, it's staggering against the spread. Anything over 7.5, it's even worse. So that 8.5 to me is way live, even though the Browns stink, because the Eagles have proven that they lay eggs too. Everyone thought the Eagles were going to be so great, and they've been anything but. I mean, Sirianni, he needs a shrink. That's how bad things have been going in Philly. So I think once again, you got a juicy lineup of spreads with big numbers that you can cash some tickets on.
You certainly can. I will come back and finish off by just giving you the best and the worst against the spread so far. I give that to you every week. And then we will get into some college football because I didn't get to do a lot of it yesterday. We have got some heavy hitter matchups this week, whether it's Texas, Oklahoma, Oregon, Ohio State, LSU, Ole Miss. I mean, lots of heavy hitter stuff that we need to take a look at here today on a Wednesday.
Oh, my God. Racks of college football, big games this week. Are you kidding me? It doesn't get any better than that. They're underway in Queens, and there's no score. Bottom 1, Mets are up, 1 out, nobody on. You got your boy Vientos up. I need him to get a couple of bags. And the Tigers, when I left that game, were up 3-0.
Want to know who to draft and who to avoid in fantasy football? Or want to know who to place NFL season future bets on? Get an insider edge from the former NFL team doctors at Sports Injury Central. The 2024 NFL preseason injury guide is the only in-depth injury report analyzing all 32 teams and over 150 players. So go to sixscore.com to get the most accurate NFL preseason injury report. That's sixscore.com.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on Sports Grid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take the room.
Pro Football Today, only on Sports Grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
When you're partying and you think, because you start doing rails and then you start getting paranoid, and then you think when you leave the room that maybe the chick that's there is like stealing some of your blow, and you decide to strangle her, that might probably get you a ticket to the exempt list in the NFL. I'm guessing that sounds like about what played out on Friday night into Saturday morning when they came over to Jabril Pepper's house and they got him for assault, battery, strangulation, and possession of blow. It was just like a bad Lifetime movie. And if you're gonna choke a chick out over your blow got a little short stacked, that might do it.
Yeah, I would say that probably can do it for you in a situation like that. That probably do it. That's for sure. We gave you the Pepper story yesterday. Today, he was placed on the commissioner's exempt list, which means
you're done.
He is not allowed at practices, games, anything related to the Patriots. Not that he could get to those places, considering he's going to be in the tin. That's where he's going to be, jail. So that's not a good scene for Peppers.
Not representing the Shield.
No, won't be doing any of that. All right, last thing, NFL best. By the way, Mets. Double for Vientos in the bottom of the first, so he was on second. Nimmo walked, and Alonso, so you get the over 1.5 total bases for Vientos in the first inning. Alonso up with 2 on here and 1 out after the Nimmo walk. We'll see if he can get anything cooking.
He almost jacked one. Foul ball.
You gotta be kidding me. Come on. Best teams against the spread this year. The Vikings, impressively, are 5-0. But they're also even more impressively 5-0 against the spread. That is what really matters. 5-0 ATS for Minnesota. Chiefs, Colts, Commanders, Broncos are all 4-1 ATS here in the very early going. Lots of 3-2 teams. Whatever. That doesn't get me excited. The 5-0s and the 4-1s are what get me excited.
Y'all cut it off at the Broncos right there at 4-1. So that's defense, baby. And the Commanders, Colts, look. The Colts are fun to bet on with this combo meal of Richardson and Flacco. Richardson plays for about 20 minutes, gets injured, then Flacco does all the work.
He certainly does. On the other side of the coin, the worst against the spread. Dolphins, Panthers, Rams, and Browns are 1-4 ATS, with the Patriots, Seahawks, and Texans and Titans not far behind them, as they've got a couple of pushes in there. So not good so far for those teams.
So tomorrow, Seahawks 1-3-1. How about 1-4-1?
Very possible. Very possible that we could see that. So there you go. We'll do, of course, more NFL tomorrow. We'll have the Niners and the Seahawks, as we mentioned,
Very exciting.
starting off week number 6. We got to do some college here because we did not get to a lot of it yesterday. There was a game last night. There's a game tonight, too. Liberty was very big favorite against the Pitbull team, and they actually needed overtime, Scotty, to beat FIU last night. 31-24, so no cover for Liberty, but they do win the game outright. What happened here?
Well, they're saying that he's out at first, but I'm not so sure. I got to see it myself because they want to review it because Bohm bobbled the ball, and he's safe.
Now, wait a second. Did he? I just saw it quickly.
Safe.
Did he? He didn't tag Vientos
Look at that.
here?
He's safe. Ty goes to the runner. He's safe.
Oh, he missed him.
Look at his foot. Look at his foot. That's safe.
He's safe. He's safe. I think he's safe, too.
Loaded. He's safe. They're going to reverse this because the umps suck.
When I saw the play in real speed, I thought Bohm tagged Vientos, but Vientos held up a little bit and stayed out of the way. He's safe. His foot's on the bag. There's got the stop right there. The ball's not in the glove yet. He is absolutely safe. They cannot get that one wrong. So no cover for Liberty last night. Tonight, if you're interested, and I don't want to spend much time on it, New Mexico State and Jacksonville State is going to be on for you. If the baseball's too boring for you, you can lay 20.5 with Jacksonville State.
That's not happening. That's just not happening. But I also don't think that they're going to cover that big number because they stink too.
That is a pretty big number for Jacksonville State to cover tonight against New Mexico State. All right, we'll come back.
New Mexico State lose 50-40 to New Mexico. Did I not see them score 40? So there's no way I'm giving them 20 in a hook, and there's no way I'm watching that crappy football game. Once again, every week I'm going to expose crappy games. I'm just going to say it. It's an awful football game. Anyone who watches it has something wrong with it.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
I do think they come back, and I think they win this game, but they've got to do it decisively. I think they've got to get that confidence back because they went out there, and like I said earlier, Kentucky almost beat Georgia. Kentucky almost did beat Ole Miss, and I think what you're going to see in this conference, if you don't play well and you're a top 10 team in the SEC, you're going to get knocked out by one of those top 25 teams in the SEC if you're not ready to play.
Powered by Sports Grid.
He already has more than 1,000 yards. The last 3 running backs to win the Heisman, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, Reggie Bush, did not have more than 650 in their opening 5 games of the year. Ashton Genty on pace to strike the pose in December.
Statistics matter. Blow every record out of the water, and he will be a Heisman. Disgraceful performance by the head coach, not Gene.
The Early Line. Only on Sports Grid.
the Mets had the bases loaded with one out, but Iglesias struck out on a big hook, and then J.D. Martinez struck out on 2 curveballs in a row by Suarez to wipe him out with the bases jammed. So they left 3 on the pond in the first inning, and it's still scoreless at Citi Field. They'll remember those 3 runs. They had them loaded up in the first. A hit would have opened the can up, but the Phillies get out of it unscathed, and Suarez looks like he's got total command of his off-speed stuff.
He certainly does. And by the way, still 3-0 top 8 in Detroit in that game 3 between the Tigers and the Guardians. So we keep our eyes there as well for that one. All right, let's do some college here. I gave you the NFL. I want to start by giving you the college too. The best and worst against the spread as we head into this week. And we find, we got a good amount of games now here. Everybody's played 5-6 games in college, so we got some good numbers. Undefeated against the spread. There's only a few teams left. BYU, Marshall, Eastern Michigan, Pitt, and Army. 5-0 ATS so far through this season. Tulane, Indiana, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Sam Houston State, also pretty good. Now, Illinois has a push in there, but they have also not lost. They're 4-0-1 against the number.
Well, I had a nice bet last week with Arkansas and the 14 at home in Fayetteville against Tennessee. And Indiana has impressed everybody. 6-0, 5-1 against the spread, scoring 40 or more a week, every game. So those are teams I believe in. I also like Pitt. They got a real fast team and a decent quarterback, a good coach. They mean business. I like the way they handled their business in Chapel Hill last week. They were losing that game. They still beat them by 10, 34-24. And I love BYU. I think they are brutal to play. And in particular, in Provo, you go to Provo, you are losing. That is all there is to it. So, and I can't wait to see Indiana. They're off this week. That they play Nebraska next week in Bloomington. If they beat them and go to 7-0, they are legit and for real and a real problem. And I give them a shot to beat Michigan because they don't have a quarterback. And I want to see if they can hang with Ohio State. I don't think they can beat them. I want to see if they can give them a game. I want to see like a 54-47 game between Ohio State and Indiana. And I think that'll prove to everyone that they are for real.
Indeed. Other side of the coin, 0-6 against the spread. Kansas, not good. Not a good scene. North Carolina and NC State, both 0-5-1. Air Force, Kent State, 0-5. TCU, Michigan, Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, LSU, Oregon, 1-4 against the number.
But I will tell you, last week, I told you my favorite play of the week was Whiskey against Purdue. They were laying 14, 13 and a hook, whatever it was. Everyone that plays Purdue has sex with them. I mean, honestly, they beat them by 50. Everyone that plays them wins by 40, 50 points. They're awful. Again, just like they always have been in football. They're a basketball school, and they just don't care about football. And when Jeff Brom rolled out of there and said, see you later, and went back to Louisville, that was the end of them. So Wisconsin was juicy. They're 1-4 against the spread, but they looked great last week in that cover, I'll tell you that much. So did Arizona. And I bet against Michigan at Husky Stadium. The team that I'm surprised stinks is TCU. Sonny Dykes, what is happening in Fort Worth?
Has not been good. Ever since they made the playoff a couple years ago, it has been kind of downhill for Sonny down there with the Horned Frogs. All right, weekly look, odds to win the college football playoff. Last week, Alabama was the favorite off of the win against Georgia. Not anymore. Ohio State at 3-1 is now the favorite, with Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Oregon right behind them. Get a little gap there. Then you get to Tennessee, Miami, Ole Miss, Penn State, Clemson.
Well, I put no stock in this whatsoever. Who's going to win the national championship? And we're not even at Halloween, but we're already crowning people. But I'll say this. We're going to find out real quick how good Ohio State is on Saturday in Eugene at Autzen Stadium. Very tough place to play. I do believe, like Oregon, I thought looked okay against Michigan State. Nothing spectacular. I thought they had a couple of big mistakes in the red zone, right? And they won 31-10, but Michigan State is puke. So now they're going to play Ohio State, and Ohio State, talent-wise, legit is better than Oregon. They are loaded, absolutely stacked with five-star athletes. Every position on the field, stacked. I think Ohio State can go into Eugene and win the game. Now, it is a tough place to play, allegedly, right? Like, let's calm down. They were way better with Bo Nix there than they are with this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I've been hearing all I can take about how great they are, but I think Ohio State means business on Saturday. Let's see if they can get it done. You fly that far, 3,000 miles to play, you usually have problems. And it is not ideal, that place to play in. It is tough. Outson is tough. I'll give you that. But I think they're more talented than Oregon.
Yeah, look, we had this talk last week or early this week. It's not easy. It's going to be for these old guard Big Ten teams to go west. Not going to be easy for the new Big Ten teams to go east, especially as we get further and further into this season. Last thing, then I'll get to the games, is the Heisman. We were talking about this with Cam Ward the other day. He's actually now behind on the board. Ashton Jentney, of course, of Boise State, who's been excellent. Travis Hunter of Colorado at 320. Then Cam Ward at plus 450. And then you get Miller, Gabriel, Beck, guys that shouldn't be anywhere near those top three.
So when you look at quarterback power rankings and meaningless things like those lists, Cam Ward is the best quarterback in the country. And not only that, Cam Ward is the best college football player in the country. He is the deal. And I don't deny Travis Hunter's abilities and that he's going to the next level. And he thinks he's going to play two positions in the NFL and he's tripping. But I'll say this, in my view, it's Cam Ward and Travis Hunter 1-2 for the Heisman. If they give that guy Jenney the Heisman Trophy at Boise State, I will keel over. I mean, I think, you said it. He needs 3,000 yards because they don't give Heisman trophies to guys that play at Boise State. I mean, they just don't. They never have. I mean, I hope he wins it. I got nothing against him. But I am in full belief here, like without a doubt, what I've seen in big-time college football, and it ain't at Boise, is that Cam Ward's the best player in the country playing football. I mean, what he has done, what he did at Berkeley alone, what he did last week down 35-10 in the third quarter, and he won that game at Berkeley on the road in Cal, that to me right there, he puts him right back on top of the Heisman race. So I don't believe this list at all whatsoever for 1 second. It's garbage.
Yeah, look, it's there's been guys who have run for 2,000 yards they haven't given it to recently. Jonathan Taylor, when he was at Wisconsin, ran for like 2,100 yards. They didn't give him the Heisman. Running backs in general don't get it. You need to have a lot of juice. Obviously Derrick Henry won, but you got to have a ton of juice as a running back to be able to get that award. Long way to go, as you say, for all of that. It's always a quarterback award. All right. Going to the bottom of the second at Citi Field, Mets are coming back up to hit. Still 3-0 for the Tigers. When we come back, Texas making the move, Scotty. Back to Quinn Ewers as he is healthy. They will go and put Arch on the bench. Sark said, when he's healthy, I'm putting him back in. And he will do that against Oklahoma this week.
Mike, I think that Arch knew all along that they were going to go back to him, and they told him that from the beginning. Like, you're going to play, and when he's healthy, he's going to play. And if we need you, you're going to play. But next year, that's his team. This year, it's just not. And I still think Arch is better than Quinn Ewers.
Yep.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night, I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
I do think they come back, and I think they win this game, but they've got to do it decisively. I think they've got to get that confidence back because they went out there, and like I said earlier, Kentucky almost beat Georgia. Kentucky almost did beat Ole Miss, and I think what you're going to see in this conference, if you don't play well and you're a top 10 team in the SEC, you're going to get knocked out by one of those top 25 teams in the SEC if you're not ready to play.
Powered by Sports Grid.
He already has more than 1,000 yards. The last three running backs to win the Heisman, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, Reggie Bush, did not have more than 650 in their opening 5 games of the year. Ashton Genty on pace to strike the pose in December.
Statistics matter. Blow every record out of the water, and he will be a Heisman. Disgraceful performance by the head coach, not Gene.
The Early Line. Only on Sports Grid.
So look, while they're in Austin, that's how it's going to go, right? It's going to be Ewers' team. As long as he's healthy and standing, he's going to get the nod. And we've already seen the sample of Arch Manning, and he's been utterly fantastic. What I see down the road is, obviously, that'll be his team next year. But what I really see is that he's going to be like Eli and Peyton in the NFL. He'll be a star quarterback in the NFL. He's going to have a huge career, make a ton of money. He's going to play for 20 years. And Quinn Ewers won't. I think Quinn Ewers, to me, will be another guy. Like, his size, am I tripping? Like, his size is another, he's like a Baker Mayfield, isn't he? I don't have a problem with Baker Mayfield. I think he's busted his ass to get where he is. I think that's what Ewers is going to have to do. He's going to have to move around and find some place that he fits and that he could be productive, right? Do you think that Quinn Ewers is going to be a star in the NFL or a college star who works and has to move around like a vagabond in the NFL? Arch Manning will be the top player selected in the NFL draft when he goes to the NFL. And he's going to make a ton of money. He's going to have a career just like his, uncles. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I with Quinn, look, I don't think he's obviously got the same pedigree and no doubt about it as Arch does. I think you're right. Arch, when he comes out next year, he's still got another year he's got to play in college. He's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft when he comes out. There's no doubt about it. Doesn't matter who it is. He's going to be first. I mean, Ewers might be an NFL quarterback. We've seen some guys who have done it. But it's also going to depend on, like with most of these guys, where he goes and what the situation is. And that will determine his future. Here's Quinn's problem, Scotty, the rest of this season. There was an unknown with Arch. Last year and the beginning of this year, you hadn't seen him actually play and be out on the field with the other guys. Now you've gotten a taste of what Arch can do when he's out there. So if Quinn goes out there this week against Oklahoma and throws a couple picks in the first half, now the pressure's on Sark because now everyone knows Arch is outstanding and has seen it, and they're going to want him to pull the plug a lot quicker. So Quinn's got to play well because now I think the path is a lot quicker for Arch to play than it would have been in the past.
I agree with you, Mike, and it's well pointed out. Everything you're saying is dead right. But here's the deal. We already know that Quinn Ewers is an excellent college quarterback. We already know that he can play in monster games and come up big. We already know that he can perform at the highest level in college football. So I think they're going to beat Oklahoma. They're better than Oklahoma. That's all there is to it. And I think he'll have a good game. I still believe everything you said is dead right, that they all know that if he throws a pick, they're going to start booing and they're going to want Arch Manning. Arch Manning also makes mistakes. I've seen him throw a pick, and he's young and whatever. But look, the future for him is so outstanding. It's not even funny. So I don't even think he cares about playing right now. He knows next year he's going to play every snap if he's healthy. And this is kind of Quinn's farewell. I agree with you about Quinn. Pros, I said basically the same thing in not so many words.
Cotton Bowl for them this Saturday, of course, for the Red River rivalry. This is a big number. It's 14.5. 50.5 is the total. We've seen some close games in this rivalry. We've seen some blowouts, even when one team's better than the other. We know Texas is a lot better than Oklahoma, but that's a very big number.
Listen, that number's too big for this rivalry. And I think Texas is better than Oklahoma. Are they 15 points better in a rivalry game of blood and guts? I mean, this is these guys they won't even eat food. They'll eat charcoal all week getting ready for this game. I mean, it's war. It's an absolute war every time they play. So no way am I laying that kind of piece in that game. But I do think Texas will find a way to beat Oklahoma. There's something about the team that I think they're missing.
Yeah, they are missing something. Yeah, quarterback would be it. Let me give you the numbers in some of these bigger games. Tomorrow we're going to do more of the racks. Penn State is going to the Coliseum out west for USC. They are 4.5-point favorites on the road for Franklin against Moss and the crew there with that. Let me give you you could comment on all of them. Florida is at Tennessee this week. That is also going to be a big number, 15.5 for the Vols off a loss on Rocky Top. Ole Miss going to LSU in a night game. Both of these teams big ranked, and 3.5 on the road for Ole Miss.
Yeah, LSU doesn't lose under the lights in Death Valley, and then USC's lost 2 in a row. A real tough spot for Penn State to go to the Coliseum to beat them by that number. 4.5. I think Penn State could get upset. I gave you UCLA last week at 28.5, and they covered. Even at 27.5, didn't matter. They lost 27-10. I think Penn State, for my money, is overrated. And what was the other game?
The other Tennessee and Florida.
Tennessee
was the other game.
I think Tennessee waxed Florida in Knoxville. Tennessee plays on another level at home than they do on the road in Fayetteville. I got that hog cover and win outright last week for you. They go home and turn it on Florida's ass. I think Florida, I gave you Florida last week. They were easy money, I thought, at home. They got it done against UCF. I like Tennessee here. And I just kill it in college football, as you know. I like Saturdays better than Sundays. Sundays to me is a kiss of death. It is a way to lose everything: your marriage, your family, your house, your wallet, your car, your dog, your lover.
You brought up the Ohio State-Oregon game, which is obviously the main attraction this week, 2-3. I wanted to give you the number, though. Ohio State is 3 points. This is 3.5 this morning. I got a flat 3 right now in Oregon against the Ducks with a big 52.5. So, tricky number.
Yeah, look, I don't believe that this is a field goal game. I really don't. I think Ohio State is a tutty better than Oregon. I do.
There you go. More racks tomorrow, including, you mentioned BYU at home. They got that Arizona team coming in this week. Very interesting game in Provo. Several other huge games we will talk more about tomorrow as we get ready for the weekend.
BYU isn't losing in Provo.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night, I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports Grid.
I do think they come back, and I think they win this game, but they've got to do it decisively. I think they've got to get that confidence back because they went out there, and like I said earlier, Kentucky almost beat Georgia. Kentucky almost did beat Ole Miss, and I think what you're going to see in this conference, if you don't play well and you're a top 10 team in the SEC, you're going to get knocked out by one of those top 25 teams in the SEC if you're not ready to play.
Powered by Sports Grid.
He already has more than 1,000 yards. The last three running backs to win the Heisman, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, Reggie Bush, did not have more than 650 in their opening 5 games of the year. Ashton Genty on pace to strike the pose in December.
Statistics matter. Blow every record out of the water, and he will be a Heisman. Disgraceful performance by the head coach, not Gene.
The Early Line. Only on Sports Grid.
Base in the first 2 innings. Bases loaded both times. They got no runs. Kiss of death for the Mets.
Yeah, you got to get something out of those two. When you load them up the first 2 innings and you come away with 0, morale's got to be sky high in a Philly dugout too. For them to, I wouldn't be surprised they score a run this inning. Right out here, top of the third. They'll get a run across after all of that. All right, here we go for leftovers. But really, we should just call leftovers hockey.
Everybody loves hockey.
Everybody does love hockey. By the way, yesterday, I don't know if you saw that guy missed the empty net at the end of the Seattle-St. Louis game to get that under for us. But he had a wraparound empty net goal with like 10 seconds left, and your boy Buchnevich chunked it, and it hit the post to keep it under 5.5. So 3-2. He hit the under. Panthers won at home against the Bruins, and Utah beat Chicago 5-2. They get their first win out there at the Delta Center. Here we go tonight. First game for these teams. Toronto in Montreal against the Canadiens. Of course, the Leafs favored on the road, almost 2 bills there, and a 6.5 total. I think Cam said it earlier. Gabe might have said it too. These two always play wild games. Over 6.5.
Over, and give me the Habs for Marty St. Louis.
Ooh, little Habs. Hockey night in Pittsburgh at the PPG opening night for the Rangers and the Penguins. Rangers minus 137, plus $1.14 for Pittsburgh, and another 6.5.
Yeah, I don't think it's too juicy at minus $1.37. Not only that, I think they can beat them by 2 goals, Rangers.
Wow, Rangers tonight. Winnipeg is in Edmonton as Connor McDavid and the Oilers are back after losing Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. They're favored at home, minus $1.72, 6.5 the total here.
Yeah, I like that under call earlier that we heard here with these. Look, I think Hellebuck's really good, right? So I think he can frustrate them for a couple periods, keep that puppy under 6.5. I mean, the Oilers should win. I mean, everybody's got them favored to win the Stanley Cup. They should go out and win, but I don't trust them. I'm sick of hearing about how great they are. They don't get it done.
We always love games in Western Canada. Calgary visiting Vancouver to start the season tonight. Minus 210 for the Nucks and a 6.5 total.
Yeah, I like the over here and Vancouver, but I'm not paying 210 for anything, so I'm going to hope for the over, and I'd go puck line, lay the 1.5.
And finally, Colorado into Vegas on the Strip against the Knights tonight. Pick them here, minus 110 both ways with the 6.5.
Yeah, I'll take Sin City at home I think the Avalanche are badass, but Vegas loves playing Colorado in that building at the T-Mobile. It'll be rocking right next to the New York. I'll take the homeboys.
There you go. Hockey tonight. We all love that. USC's
Everybody
Juju
loves
Watkins
hockey.
gets a lucrative Nike NIL deal. Lots of money for her. As college basketball is getting close as well. And did you see them implode the Trop last night? And they did like a fireworks show to go with it. I mean, geez. I mean, we're knocking down this long and the place obviously has been a dump for the last 30 years. But still, it was a dump. But now a big empty lot there across from the MGM Grand.
Well, and asbestos everybody for everyone. And then they're going to build a baseball stadium there. It's like
they are.
A burial ground with all that asbestos, though. I wouldn't want to be near that place right now. You got the Ferrella finish. Ryan Garcia has his vandalism charge from the hotel incident in Beverly Hills dismissed. Thank God for that. He's got nothing but problems in his life. Connecticut man accused of punching a pregnant woman in a carjacking attempt at a Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru. That's our second straight day with a loser tool punching a pregnant woman. New Jersey high schooler recorded nearly 40 videos of women and female minors in the mall bathroom with hidden cameras. My guy had the voyeurism scene set up at the mall for, what was the guy's name? Paul Blart Mall Cop. You remember your boy, Kevin James, when he played the mall cop? Can you imagine him chasing the voyeur down the hall? New York City doorman accused of stealing almost $500 grand from elderly tenant as she moved into a nursing home. My guy was stealing her life savings and all of her estate. The doorman was in on it, Carver High, stealing almost $500 large from an elderly old woman. How dare you? The Mets left 6 on. That'll come back to haunt you every time. GTD is next. Go to FerronaBench.com for everything else. You're going to love it. And we'll see you tomorrow at 3 on Constant Guys.
Versus the book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. To your quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the book.
And now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness. And I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now. And you don't deserve anything.
Only on Sports Grid. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The Early Line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on sports.